Tom Brady has retired again.
Good morning, guys. I'll get to the point right away. I'm retiring for good. I know the process was a pretty big deal last time, so when I woke up this morning, I figured I'd just press record and let you guys know first. So I won't be long-winded. I think you only get one super emotional retirement essay, and I used mine up last year. So really thank you guys so much, to every single one of you, for supporting me, my family, my friends, my teammates, my competitors. I could go on forever. There's too many. Thank you guys for allowing me to live my absolute dream. I wouldn't change a thing. Love you all.
Love you all. Now, a year after I retired, and then came back, I'm retiring again. I don't have any particular care that Tom Brady is retiring again. I'm not a New England Patriots fan. I'm a New Yorker by birth and upbringing. I don't watch football. I don't even know what team Tom Brady currently plays for or did play for before he retired. My interest in this story goes back much further than Tom Brady's football career. Goes back, way back to ancient days. Goes back to a man you might have heard of, a fella by the name of Hezekiah, king of Judah. Now, Hezekiah, king of Judah, you can read about him in the Bible, was a very good ruler of Judah. He was a very successful king. And one day, the prophet Isaiah comes to him and he says, hey, you're going to die. You're sick and you're going to die and your time has come. And Hezekiah says, oh man, I don't want to die. Isaiah, come on, get me some more years. Come on, talk to God, get me some more years. And Isaiah comes back and he says, hey, you've been granted a reprieve. God is giving you another 15 years. And Hezekiah says, oh man, that's great. And what happens? Hezekiah destroys his legacy. In that 15-year period, Hezekiah welcomes the Babylonians to come in, check out his kingdom, check out all of his stuff. If they had had spy balloons during that day, the Babylonians would have been sending that over, although I guess they didn't need to because Hezekiah just invited them in and gives them a huge upper hand in what would come later, which is the Babylonians just conquering the kingdom. In that 15-year period of time, Hezekiah, king of Judah, has a son. His son is Manasseh. Manasseh is a very terrible king who tears down all the great stuff that Hezekiah had done. And Hezekiah sees that this is going to happen. And Isaiah says, man, things are going to go really south. You were supposed to die, but then, you got this little reprieve and you're going to destroy everything. And what does Hezekiah say? He says, well, is this going to happen in my lifetime? And Isaiah says, no, it's going to happen after you're dead. And Hezekiah says, oh, okay, all right, never mind. Well, in that case, I get another 15 years. It's pretty nice, right? Was it worth it? I don't think so. And by the whole scope of salvation history, it all comes to a purpose ultimately. But in the moment, certainly wasn't good for Judah, certainly wasn't good for Hezekiah's legacy, certainly wasn't good for Tom Brady. A real important reminder: know your time. Know when things are over. Tom Brady could have retired a year ago. He would have gone out as the almost universally beloved greatest football player of all time, with a super hot wife that people generally liked and a nice family, and he could have rode off into the sunset. Instead, he decided to unretire. This has been broadly cited as the reason why his wife divorced him and lost him a lot of favor among the fans. And for what? To get one more year, and then he says, okay, I'm out. Was it worth it to just wring out another few months of playing football? Probably not. Was it worth it, Hezekiah, just to wring out another 15 measly years on earth and you destroy the kingdom of Judah? I don't think so. Now, I mentioned those hostile foreign powers coming in and spying around on kingdoms. This is a story that just broke last night. The Chinese have apparently sent a spy balloon over the continental United States. My first reaction is this 1952? We're still sending spy balloons Don't we have more advanced technology than that? Don't the Chinese? The Chinese are very advanced. They stole all of our tech. Surely the Chinese have more advanced tech than this. Apparently not. So there's this spy balloon, and it's going over here, and the foreign affairs spokesman for the Chinese, whose name is Mao, not a good sign also, Mao Ning. Mao says, I want to stress that before it becomes clear what happened, any deliberate speculation or hyping up will not help. The Chinese side is gathering the facts and hopes all sides will handle this matter in a cool-headed manner. We act in accordance with international law, says Mao Ning. I kind of push those two together. Says Mao Ning. We have no intention to violate any other country's sovereignty, and bearing the facts, we hope relevant parties would handle the matter in a clear-headed way. Yeah, okay. Yeah, China, famous for acting in accordance with international law. China, which, starting the moment we let them into the World Trade Organization, starts violating all the trade rules, steals all of our technology, artificially subsidizes steel and aluminum, artificially manipulates its currency, just does everything it can to violate international law, to say nothing of what it does to various population groups within China and just all the heinous things that the regime inflicts on its people. Yeah, we act in accordance with international law. So what is the Biden administration doing? Well, the Biden administration, I was wondering, I said, okay, well, what does this balloon look like? And we don't know exactly because it's still flying overhead. What? They said they're monitoring the situation. They've got eyes on it. They're monitoring the spy balloon. Are you kidding me? Is this the depth of weakness that the United States has sunk to? That we see a spy balloon flying over the continental United States. We know it's from our most threatening geopolitical foe, China, and we just let it keep flying. We don't shoot this thing down. What are we spending all this money on in the U.S. military? All that defense spending that we get every year, we can't even shoot down a stupid balloon? Good grief, man. You know, back in the 50s, when the U.S. was sending spy planes over the Soviet Union, when there was a far greater risk of a nuclear war than you have right now between America and the United States, or America and China, rather, what did the Soviet Union do? They shot the plane down. The plane which wasn't just a random balloon, the plane that had a pilot in it. And the U.S. denied, oh no, we don't have any spy planes over the Soviet Union, and then they shoot down the plane, and we say, okay, all right, I guess we did. And now we're so afraid of upsetting China that we will allow them to send a spy balloon over the U.S.? Good grief. The reason we're doing it, of course, is because China sort of owns us at this point. They own a ton of our debt. They own our entire production line. They own our supply chain. If they cut us off, if we're a little too aggressive with China, well, then we're screwed. This is what happens. For a long time, you heard people among the liberal free trader types, especially Joe Biden. He was really clear about this. He said, we need to bring China into the international community. We need to trade with them. A rising tide lifts all ships. It's really good. Rising China is good for everybody. You know what? Let's give them all of our manufacturing. Yeah, I know, that'll hurt small-town Americans. That'll hurt blue-collar Americans. But that doesn't matter because now we'll get cheap junk from China. And that'll be really, really great for everybody. And there's no downside to total free trade and offshoring and outsourcing. There's no downside at all because GDP might tick up a little bit. This is what you heard from the free traders, not just in the Democrat Party, in the Republican Party too. And there were some people, some of those less fashionable figures, who said, actually, maybe we need some manufacturing in the U.S. Actually, maybe it's not good to outsource our entire manufacturing base. Actually, maybe tariffs wouldn't be the worst idea. Actually, maybe we should counter China's rise. And these people were laughed at as rubes, economically illiterate, stupid idiots. And now what situation are we in? We're in a situation where China calls the shots because he who pays the piper calls the tune. GDP is not everything. Free trade is not universally good at all times in every way. And actually, it might serve the purposes of national security, might serve our national political flourishing for us to be able to make some things ourselves and not be totally owned and operated by our enemies. The show continues now. Not for you hoi polloi over on YouTube, but for the creme de la creme, the inner circle at dailywire.com/Knowles. Use code Knowles at checkout. You get 2 months free on all annual plans. We will see you there.